Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching GEEKCASTER, everything sci-fi, fantasy, and pop culture commentary. We've got Drew, I'm Seven, and thank you for joining us. For everyone that's watching us live on Twitch, how y'all doing? If you're watching us on YouTube or geekcaster.com, or if you're watching us on cable in any of the counties that we're in, we appreciate you. All right, Drew, what is going on in the world today? How you feeling?
Hanging in there, still doing it. And I'm not sure where we left off from the last one, what we're about to dive into. I guess we're freestyling it at this point.
Yeah, but you know what? I also I'm hearing tickets are going to be available for New York Comic Con.
Oh, yeah.
And I heard the prices are no joke.
I'm not surprised. Prices for Anime Expo have gone up. They gave us the announcement that prices for tickets were going to go up as of either last week or the week before.
Wow.
So that's the other annual thing that's in Los Angeles, Anime Expo. It'll be July 3rd through the 6th, something like that. But after that, I want to say that it's Comic Con, which is, man, that came quick.
For VIP tickets, $800.
Yeah, that type of pricing. But that's if you need like a VIP thing. If you're like, on some sexy flexy stuff.
Yeah.
Average admission, I don't know what it is at this point.
Yeah, you don't have to flex. It's not necessary.
Yeah, VIP and all that extra crap. I'm like, okay.
You could just go to the convention. Yeah. So if you don't flex, I don't think it's as bad. But you guys could, go online and check that out and see what's going on there. But I did find that interesting. Again, going there for so many years and seeing the prices and just the changing, the audience change. It's been very interesting.
As popularity and stuff like that has grown, it's only to be expected that you're going to have more people, and that because of that, the companies that run these events, it's like, yo, let's cash in and charge X for what we know is going to be a landslide of people there. Let's get paid. So I get the logic, but at the same time, it does make people kind of like, especially those that maybe have not gone, this will be like their first time. It kind of like, it chops at the experience. It makes it more difficult for them to go in and have that fun that first time.
Mm-hmm.
We will see, though.
No, definitely. Yeah. It hits the first timers, but not like if you've been going for years, because you're like, oh, I guess this is what it is. Like if you don't know any better.
Yeah, those who go consistently, like that's the same thing with AX. You see how they run it. They run the venue differently. Different people show up. It's fun to see it grow, but it always comes at the cost of losing the heart of what the con is initially about, if that makes any kind of sense.
Right. But, no, definitely.
I'd definitely still say go at least once, just the weekend, just to see what it's like.
Right. Or in the week. 1 or 2 days at least, just to see.
Just go on a day. I think it falls on I might be wrong. It falls on a weekend, I think, this year. But yeah, it should be fun. Good time.
No, definitely.
I check it out on Boy News these days because they make announcements there for them.
So I was trying to do some research for GEEKCASTER.com. Right? Here's a plug. Bang. And just to see where we're going as far as technology. And the future of mobile phones, cellular phones. Do you want to wear your phone as a band?
No, not particularly. No.
No buttons and no bevel, and for years they've shown the clear one that you could fold, and it's almost like paper. And do you want all that?
All the extra stuff that we see in Minority Report, but when I'm elderly, right? If I live that long, and I get to be elderly, and I had a heart monitor, a phone to call, stuff like that, because I'm going to need stuff like that when we get old. We're all going to need it eventually. To have that technology there, it could be cool, but I don't I'm not really too keen on the idea of having my phone on me at all times like that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but
Nice.
that's a generation thing. Most of these kids nowadays, like their phone. I joke, but I'm kind of getting serious these days. It's like their phone is their soul. If
Mm.
they lose their phone, these kids freak out. They lose their little mind. So that's going to be a thing.
Yeah. No, it's like weddings, birthdays, funerals. You
Mm.
see the teenagers just, you know,
Everybody's got their phones out. Everybody's
yeah.
got their phone.
In
Uh,
fact, talking to this guy that does tattooing,
mm,
shout out, shout out, free agent. And he said that, like he does, like, especially around graduation time, a lot of the fraternities and stuff like that, there's a lot of people that'll come out and they'll want to get tattooed, right? It's like a bonding ritual. And he said years ago when he was doing it, people would be amping people on and like, hey, and, like, yay, you're getting a tattoo and all this other stuff. Now they're just sitting around on their phones, not even paying attention.
yeah, there's a lot like, yeah, it's like just part of the process. It's just commonplace now to get a tattoo. And while they're doing it, it's not them experiencing that moment, it's them mucking about with their phones.
Right,
We all do it to one extent or another because the technology's there. But
right,
when you go to an event, like you're a music guy, you go to
right.
concerts.
Mm-hmm.
How many people, when you go to a concert, are actually watching the show versus recording or live streaming or trying to pose themselves like they're in, like, a Samsung commercial or something to make themselves look like they're exuding this lifestyle?
Right.
Most people do that. They
And
don't experience the event.
I want to say something to sidebar, but if you're doing media, and maybe you might want to do it, but if you're shooting something, you shoot something. You're not doing all this. That's not professional. Like if you're gonna be holding the camera, or then you're doing that. I mean, photographer, videographers are usually 99.999 never in the shot. You just gotta make a decision. You know what I mean? Are you gonna be
These are random people on the street, Seven. These are people that are looking to go viral. Whatever they're filming, they have to be in the shot because culture of narcissism. They're
right?
not looking to get an optimal shot. They don't even want to. They don't even really care about the event. It's
Right,
just, I need to be seen at the event. Let me take all the pictures of myself from all these angles.
right.
They're at their house, and it's like they have to make it look like it's part of like a film set or something. I'm like,
Mm.
dude,
Stop it.
y'all, no,
Yeah.
stop. Yeah, stop.
I don't know. It is what it is.
Oh, it's fun to watch though. It's kind of like there's the movie Truman Effect, right? Or the Truman
Yep.
Show.
Mm-hmm. The Truman Show. Yep.
It's the Truman Effect. I like watching the Truman. It's interesting to watch the Truman Effect in our culture because it's that's what it is.
Mm.
Everyone's doing it in their own little Truman Show experiment where they're the main character, and they're all vying for, like, that spot as Earth's main character. And watching them try to posture, it's in a dark little way. It's entertaining.
Mm.
It's
Interesting.
fun.
I find it entertaining when they have no talent. Like, this is not for you. Like, you can't dance, or
Well,
you
you
can't
got,
do, you
yeah.
get, and but you're still doing all the things, and it's like,
Everybody's got a terrible. Not everybody. I don't. But most people, when you go on like crap like TikTok, they all got a video of them dancing badly,
right.
lip syncing, or doing the audio to a movie or show
Oh my god.
badly.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, it's a hub of dumb. I get that this isn't everyone. I understand that that's probably not everybody on TikTok. Some people
No,
probably
right.
give information,
There's some
but most
amazing, talented people there, but the technology has afforded, and pop culture has created a space where I guess everyone could feel in their mind that they should be doing certain things.
because the technology is ubiquitous, right?
Mm.
Now have this notion that, well, I can broadcast it, therefore everything that I say is somehow gold. Some people will be more entertaining about it than others, but most of it's just the average Joe, just the average chick, just trying to posture themselves like they're a superstar. because everyone wants to be a damn superstar and an influencer, and then it's the Warhol thing, but it's instead of everyone getting their 15 minutes, it's everyone will go viral at least one time.
If we go back in time, and of course it's still prevalent today, but would you say sports in middle school, high school, even college is almost the same thing? Because the reality is 99% of these individuals are never going pro. They're not, but it's that feeling of fame or acceptance or that people just want to,
That lottery, that athlete's lottery, if
yeah.
they act the kid, because I get the logic of it, but it's always fallen to this kid shows a spark of talent. They might be good, they might be great. We don't know yet, but we're going to prime this idea that we got the next NBA or NFL superstar in our house, right? Um, this is the mindset of a lot of inner city folks because it's a way to get out of the whatever life situation that they're in. It's like, we all have seen Boys in the Hood.
or free college. I mean, I didn't realize that till why some parents go so hard. Ironically enough, the parents that really invest the time and the money are the ones that don't even need, like, they don't really need their kid to have a full scholarship. You could afford to go to scholarship.
The full scholarship thing, yeah, it comes up, but I've always heard the narrative. It's less about getting the free, pass for school, and more about that spot, that first draft pick.
Interesting.
If we're on the topic of sports, it's always just, well, I have to bank on that whatever percent of me getting that first draft pick. And like you said, it doesn't happen most of the time. So,
so
it's a lot of emphasis on the idea.
I'm sure we'll talk about this topic in many different ways and different shows because I find it fascinating. But this desire for fame and attention, this feeding narcissism, all the way to the top of the food chain of politics, all the way down to the kid in the next block wanting to be, I don't know, a TikTok star. Do you think that bubble will ever burst? Or we're just going to continue feeding this thing into our own destruction?
It will at some point. You and I probably won't be here. We'll probably be long gone. But everything has a tipping point. And if you have 90% of the population trying to become a famous YouTuber, that's society's going to have to take a lot more damage before people kind of course correct and be like, all right, this ain't working. This ain't rocking. So I was about to say we'll see, but nah. we can only speculate.
Right.
We can only speculate. It'll probably get worse. I don't really bank on people like that.
Gotcha.
I don't got faith in humanity like that. It'll probably get a lot worse because the reason is there's too much for the ones that do make it, right? When I say make it, I use that very loosely. For the ones that make it and become like famous for doing nothing, like the Bad Baby situation or
See you outside.
Yeah, and like that, where you can literally get a whole contract, people willing to give you money and sponsorships for you just being a little ratchet slob.
Right.
And it's like you can see that to the people that want to be that next one, that's tackling fuel. That's inspirational to them. Little trap rappers and stuff that, like, when they go out and they get like, what would it be? SoundCloud, like a million listens, a million hits. It's just that's their power level. You're into anime and stuff, right?
Right.
It's like how they do like
they get all powered up.
Yeah, it's like a leveling system or something. People use the amount of people that they follow online as that's my power level. That's my social currency.
Right.
And I'm like, all right, bro, it's gonna have to get a lot worse before people realize that that's not the end all be all. But let's keep watching. Get your popcorn.
Right.
Where you gonna go?
It hit me a couple years ago. A gentleman, was he a bishop or just a minister? I can't remember. But he was online and he was doing this whole kind of personality thing and showing off clothes and this and that, and he's going. And I just thought it was so not appropriate because of, you figure, with any allegedly in kind of like, religion or faith, like your focus is spiritual growth and higher level things. And why are you trying to be a YouTube star or social media
It's the
star.
same.
Like,
It's the same
yeah.
reason of notes. Line of logic as to why do people need giant megaplexes as their church site.
Mm.
It's all part of the machine of religions. They're franchises. The Catholic franchise, the Christian franchise, the Muslim franchise. Religions are just different camps and different franchises of religions.
Or can be, or shouldn't be, but there are many. But many, for all those that faith, not trying to. We're talking about individuals, not overall. But yeah, I just find it like disturbing. Just like, and this guy didn't even have his own church, but it was just like, if anything, you should be on there. I don't know, like trying to get people to higher level consciousness or something.
It's again, you got the idea that it's the notion of faith, which in and of itself, I'm not griping on. People have faith. That's cool. You believe in like an afterlife and a God and stuff is perfectly fine. I'm not messing with you about that. But it's this idea that it then dovetails into, in order to stay relevant,
you got to
more
be famous.
They paid. You got to be famous. And when it comes to that, it means adhering to lots of modern sensibilities like going viral.
Right.
Make money in the name of the Lord. When it comes to, you're more of a churchgoer than I am, I think. But when it comes to the discourse and debate nowadays with the church, it's the idea of 304 culture, where you got women that have multiple kids between multiple men.
Oh.
No one can judge me but God. And then the church was like, well, those women go to the church. They cry. They get their little cathartic cry. They go out and behave the same way and then come back. That's my audience, so that's who I'm going to pander to.
Well, so then it's interesting that pandering to audience, it goes back to the words you use of currency, right? Social currency, right? Mm-hmm. And we're seeing that same social currency or the importance of it or perception of it within politics. Well, it doesn't matter if this person is not going to look out for everyone as long as this individual is looking out for my specific needs or my values. And people will pander to whoever to build up that currency, and whoever builds the most currency, that's who a party is going to back, right? It's like, oh, people like that person, so we're going to back that person. And it's kind of scary.
It shows that, group mindset, whether those attitudes are healthy or dysfunctional, if they sell, if they get people to show up, if they get attention, they're going to rock it. The video that you sent me of, I guess it was a college graduation.
Oh, I guess. Lord.
And you have there's a whole twerk routine.
It was a twerk fest.
And my thing is, I saw it and I don't really care. I'm going to preface it there.
Right.
I don't really care. But my thing about it is I saw it and I'm like, I'm glad I didn't go to my graduation. I'm glad I just skipped out. I stayed off, slept in. College graduation, I'm like, bro, I'm not going.
Yeah, but I bet you when you graduated, no one was doing all that.
I don't know. They could have. I didn't go. They could have.
Now, I remember years ago, right? If anyone did like that, I mean, some people did backflip. Some people might do a split. Somebody like woohoo, and but that was it. And even then, that was considered you doing too much. Like that's not appropriate. So when I saw that video, that was just too much.
Celebrating as you graduate, and I get where the discourse is. We're like, well, they were just celebrating getting their stuff. I'm like, yeah, and while it's definitely over the top to have a whole synchronized dance, if that was something that they wanted to do and plan among themselves, all right, knock yourself out. It's just what's the expression the kids use? The optics look bad.
The optics were trash.
The optics look bad when you have this whole thing. Oh, black people are the most educated. I'm like, y'all are the most enrolled, not the most educated. But just the same, those of you who graduate, those of you who make it to the finish line, is that really what you want your opening act to be as a professional in whatever field that you got your degree for?
Right.
Dr. Johina Smith. Then first thing you see of her moments after she gets her degree is shaking fast.
Yeah.
Oh, do you? Again, I don't care. Do you? But it's like the optics look bad.
Yeah. I agree. And I don't know if that makes me sound stuffy and old, but.
Okay. Yeah. If that makes me sound stuffy and old, guess what? I don't care. I don't care. Twerk as much as you want. Just do it off my lawn, please.
I just for all the kiddies out there or someone that thinks something different, I hear you, but there's a time and a place for everything. Yeah. And
They could have
actually one of the
yeah,
comments
yeah.
was along your lines too. Like, yeah, I hope no one that wants to hire any of these people saw that video, and because that's the first impression is not a good one.
Yeah. That's your first act. Literally, moments after you got the degree, that's the footage that we got of you. I'm a professional. But here's the thing. This is why it always boils down to Drew as the villain. Because I'm like, let the footage be out there. Let it stay out there. When they don't get hired, whatever happens, cause and effect, that's the world. I didn't make them do it. But it's like when you then have them online, they're discriminating against us. They won't hire me. They fired me. They found that video. If people find the video of you
Right.
twerking moments after you got your degree, they're like, we can't.
I mean, yeah.
It's not society being mean to you. It's just a result of your own actions.
You did it to yourself.
Did it to yourself, hon.
Yeah.
Can't feel sorry for you. Did it for you. Did it to yourself.
I got to give another one for that.
We hate you. We hate you, Drew. You're not telling us what we want to hear. I don't like that.
But that's when you say, my simple response to anything like that, I'm doing it for the culture, not doing it for you. Because
if
that
I'm
don't
part
look
of the
good.
Yeah, commentary. Yeah, all right, fine. Social commentary. We do that here. Sure.
Right.
Sure. I haven't lost my black card yet. Sure. Yeah. And even if I did, you're still going to hear from me. Because the black card's a concept.
Speaking of which, oh man, did you see that? Oh, that lady from Canada. That's like they're saying that she's the new Candace Owens. I gotta send that to you, but it's
like that's Gotham logic, bro. Like you have a villain that then spawns another villain just by osmosis. What?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Yeah, but I mean, how many villains just emulated the president in other countries? Like his first term started wilding out, and like he spawned like 4 villains.
It's the same effect. I hear you on that. It only gets crazier as you have more extreme character types enter a main stage. It's then that others that get involved are going to have to meet you when it comes to those theatrics.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we have this platform, if you want to call it a show, whatever like that, where we can talk about Spider-Man, we talk about Batman and all that other good stuff, but at the same time, pop culture commentary, just a little food for thought, and we could put that out there, and whether someone throws it away at trash or someone, hey, that's food for thought. Never thought of that. That's interesting. I think it is important because you need multiple ideas, and this whole hive mind thing going on is taking us down as a culture, like overall as a blanket.
I mean, for what we do here, it's always kind of been the idea of the fiction and fantasy stuff, the sci-fi stuff, but then somewhere in there, we kind of get on real world social commentary.
Right.
Because as much as we like to talk about keeping it all separate, you can't. Right? Fiction is always going to have some kind of tether or root to real life stuff or historical circumstance. And that's why we like it. So instead of acting like those are two compartmentalized separate things, you just kind of, you eclectically just bring them together, like what we used to call it ourselves.
Right. And if you look at like the Kingpin and Daredevil Reborn, like it's interesting to see that we have a mayor of New York as well as a president that are a little off.
That was done intentionally, Seven. That was on purpose.
100%, but it fits perfectly.
Yeah, let's make a super villain. Yeah, let's make like a cartoony super villain character put him in a seat of significant power.
Right.
Which again dovetails to the Star Wars stuff because it's the same plot.
Yeah.
Let's put this extreme character in a seat of power and see what happens. And the public response will be divided.
Right. And it worked. And it is. And it works in literary works, it works in films, and it definitely works in real life.
It resonates with people, for better or worse. Some people like it, some people hate it.
Right.
You get things that get called woke for being a little too on the nose and a little too insistent on making things about now and circumstances, how we see things in modern sensibilities.
Right.
But it's, I don't know. It should all have room to speak.
Right.
I think is my
And art
takeaway.
should challenge what we think is right, what we think is wrong. Um, art should move people. You should get some sort of reaction in a quote unquote perfect world or fictional world. Like, it should help people to grow and help people to think and figure out things for themselves and for others. But a lot of times we have so much art that doesn't. So anything that tends to do it even just a little bit, yay us, humanity. Because your stuff, I mean, I know you're working on action figures and stuff, but your comics had some messages in there. You had some
It was
themes,
that kind
yeah.
of came. It was the gift and the curse of it. I think at the end of the day, with that other one I was working on,
Right.
When it gets too bogged down into just one narrative, and nixing or acting like others are just outward wrong or irrelevant, it kind of repeats the problem. It's when you look at how create things nowadays and a lot of the criticisms that we have with how storytelling and how other peoples and cultures are portrayed. It always became the argument of, okay, well, if we write something, what's our take on it? Do we act just like them? Do we follow that same narrative of we're the best and everyone is a dirty, insignificant,
Ignorant,
evil,
right?
Ignorant, savage version of us? I'm like, no, that doesn't really help the situation either. I think it's should be more about a discourse than you dictating.
Right.
Right. So I don't know.
Which also allows
Some folks
people
there,
to,
but that is.
yeah, allows people to think. Because if you just pander to,
No, we're the best. We're always awesome.
right, then
We
you're not
never
going to go
we're
anywhere.
Yeah, we're the best. Everybody else is just dirty. I'm like, all right,
Right.
you're no better, you're no different at that point. So let's make something else.
And there was it Newcastle? Was it Newcastle? It was supposed to be if Hitler won the war.
Another one of those. The Man in the High Castle.
There you go.
That was.
I bowed out gracefully because it didn't move fast enough, and they added all these. They started to just develop too many characters for my taste, and then I think we talked about it before.
You talked about that before.
Just how the video part, the film doesn't make sense, and it's a little complicated. But that series,
yeah.
okay. No, I'm just going to say that series has so much potential to develop different mindset. Focus on that. I don't want to hear all about the relationship stuff and the love stuff. Like, some series, depending on what you want to get across, doesn't have to hit all the notes. Doesn't have to have all the romance, all the action, just pick 2 or 3 things and just tell your story. Because once you started adding too much, it's where you going.
It's trying to hit all cylinders. Again, they teach you this when it comes to writing. You do want to have certain core beats and motives for why characters do things.
Right.
But I think what happens with a lot of modern writing is, like you just said, they try to fit everything. They try to fit everything in, and it may not for that particular story be necessary.
Right.
Your scope and scale may be too big to fit in all the things. So when that happens, I'm learning this too as a writer. It's like, cut out the chaff and be economical as you can. If it's the main plot, keep it in. If it's fluff, you have to then start kind of chipping away at it and then dwindling it down to what is essential for character X or plot point B. But I bowed out of. I watched a few episodes of Man in the High Castle.
Right.
Handmaiden's Tale. I'd started and I just.
They did do too much. They did too much.
I mean, yeah. Also, dude, this is gonna sound bad, but whatever. I've heard just the show for me has just become synonymous with whining white women. I know it sounds bad, but it's the only way that I can describe it. Like, the show is a dystopia, I get it, but every time I've had a conversation about the show, it just it's coming from a white woman guilt or